this season's TerraCross Championship, Supercross legend Jeremy McGrath and Snowcross legend Levi Lavelli both got a taste of driving. But so far, no driver has dominated the series. 4 races, 4 different winners. With 2 races to go, the championship points race is on for this deep field of drivers. This is the 2014 Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship. Welcome to Motorsports Mecca, Charlotte, North Carolina, home to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Today, the Speedway welcomes round 5 of the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship. Hello everyone, I'm Tess Sewell along with Paul Thacker. This, the 5th race of the season, Paul, and so far the story is there hasn't been a dominating driver.
That's correct, Tess. Last year, RJ Anderson nearly ran the gauntlet. This year, it's been a completely different story. 4 races, 4 different winners. We started out in San Diego where rookie driver Mitch Guthrie Jr. took day 1 and RJ Anderson was back on form with a day 2 win. Next, we moved on to Minnesota where course designer Dana Creech took day 1 and the speedy Kyle Hart took day 2. But this weekend, leading into Charlotte, it's a completely different story. After not winning a single race, our points leader is BC Vaught after driving smart and getting consistent finishes.
And you see Guthrie, Anderson, and Creech the winners in 4, 5, and 6, but Vaught consistent the whole way through. Well, every stop's got a different track design to challenge the drivers. Paul, you got inside the car with course builder Tim Wyatt and got some insight on the keys to this course.
All right, Tim, you run a race series down here in the South, but today's a little bit different. Not only are you the course builder / designer, but you're also racing. Tell me, what's that like?
It's very nerve-wracking, and it's when you're building a track for your peers, it's a whole new element. And I don't get nervous when I'm racing, but building one of these tracks for these guys, made me pretty uneasy.
Right.
And I'm just super stoked. The track came out awesome, and I hope the guys love it.
I totally understandable. So on any race course, there's sections of the track that are going to be key. Why don't we rip through a couple of these sections and you can take me through it?
Sounds good. Let's do it. This section here, you're going to be coming through after a 3-finger split to an absolute slick part of the course where it's going to be a dogfight. Split lanes, huge wide corner that's going to totally set you up once you come back to another 3 split lane to be able to hit the rhythm section down through here. This is where all the passing is going to take place.
Awesome. All right, you know what? You talked about the rhythm section. Let's cruise through that one as well.
Let's check it out. This is a 3-lane. You got to stay in it. Rhythm section, one's got a double, one's kind of off rhythm, and the other one is just a gnarly whoop. A lot of passing going to be here. No smash-up racing here. Pure driver talent coming through this section right here. A lot of passing is going to happen here today.
That's awesome, Tim. Well, thank you very much. Good luck today. Kill it out there. I'm stoked for you, bud.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic track here in Charlotte this weekend with lots of passing opportunities. Right now, LCQ #1 getting ready on the line. But first, let's go down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Lorette Nickel, who is with NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson's younger brother, Jesse. Lorette.
Well, Jesse Johnson has a career in pro trucks as well, the lights class, and you are out here for the first time at TerraCross. What are you learning?
Learning something new every lap. This is my first time driving one of these Razor XP 1000s and having a blast out here doing it.
And you come from a famous racing family, but you also have someone else out here. Who's racing behind you?
My brother Jarrett starts right behind me today in this LCQ, and hopefully me and him can make a charge to the front and transfer to the main.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Awesome to see both the Johnson brothers there, Jesse and Jarrett, lined up. Not in their trucks this weekend, they're in those Razors. Last chance qualifier on the line. 12 guys already qualified through to the final, and there are 2 spots left per LCQ. This is going to be a hard fight. There you see Luke Paul lined up on that inside track.
This is the LCQ. There are no points for 3rd place. The top 2 guys finishing go directly into the final, and they get to race in the main event.
So we'll see if that inside line that Luke Paul is sitting on is going to be the advantage A pretty short run here down to that first turn. They really start to get mashed up in turn one. Here we go.
Super tight first corner. That inside's going to be pretty good. But boy, look at Jesse Johnson, that outside, pretty fast. I mean, there's 3 distinct lines across through this whole track, which is pretty impressive. It's a huge course.
See this great onboard. I love the fact you can see if you see how clean the onboard, the Husqvarna helmet of Jesse Johnson was right there. Let's see how that changes after a couple of laps.
That first corner, it's concrete with a little bit of mud on top of it. It's so slippery. It's neat to see these guys set up early and basically drift through the whole corner.
So coming into this split lane on the back of the course, look how wide this course is. Really is so well built, lots of passing opportunity.
You can see in third place right there, out of a transfer spot, is course builder Tim Wyatt. So I'm not sure how much of advantage building the course was this weekend.
Well, what we've seen in the past, Dana Creech, course builder, course designer, has actually won one of these races. So the opportunity is definitely there, but it's as you said at the start of the race, no points for third place. Only the top 2 will transfer through, and so far, that's Luke Paul and Andy Ives.
And those 2 guys have 5 laps to make those spots stick so they transfer into the final.
So working on lap 2 of 5. And it is Tim Wyatt sitting in third, Barrett in fourth. And Luke Paul trying to hold off that charge of Ives. I like the fact that this course has the wet sections that are planned to make these machines go sideways.
There's so many different things happening on this track right now. I mean, you've got rhythm sections, you've got big jumps, you've got the slippery, muddy corners, your visibility, you know, your fatigue, all those things are coming into play.
So hard work for these drivers. LCQ number 1, only 2 spots remain for the final. Who will get it? Find out when we come back.
Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship is being brought to you by Mystic Lubricants, specially formulated for lubrication domination. Visit mysticlubes.com. And by the Polaris Razor XP 1000.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship. This is our first last chance qualifier. 2 spots in the final. And Luke Paul right now over Andy Ives. And Ives is trying to hold off the charge of the number 8 of Jeremy Barrett. That is the fight. That is the transfer spot. The second spot is what it's all about. So Barron having to work hard, trying to catch up to Ives. The white flag is out, 1 lap left to go.
1 lap to go. Boy, I tell you what, they're going to have to be a little bit closer. These guys have kind of spread themselves out a little bit in this LCQ. We've seen a lot tighter racing in some of the other qualifying earlier. It's going to be tough to get that second spot transfer.
You know what's amazing to me is that the Johnson brothers, we saw that amazing onboard, and I talked about how that Husqvarna helmet was nice and clean. I guarantee you now, Jesse Johnson's helmet is just spattered in mud, but they have been shuffled way to the back. I don't think there's any chance that they're going to get into the transfer, so unfortunately, the Johnson brothers are going to get knocked out of this thing. And I
Barrett is tight on that second spot. We'll see if he can make a move before the checkers.
He's making the charge, but again, as he left it too late in the race. So here we go. Luke Paul is going to take the checkered flag, but who is going to get second?
Not going to be close enough. It's like Andy Ives.
So Ives takes that second and valuable transfer spot. Jeremy Barrett left out in the cold.
And here we are in the start. The start's just always so important on any form of racing. Luke Paul gets that hole shot on the inside and takes this thing wire to wire.
Like you say, the start's so important. Take a look at this onboard, though, from Wyatt. You can see how crowded it gets going into that first corner. That's where Luke Paul manages to get himself the hole shot and sails away. And Andy Ives holding off Barrett for second place. Laurette Nickel now is caught up with our race winner.
Number 24, Luke Paul grabs the win out of the LCQ. Luke, how was that fresh air?
Oh, it felt great. It was nice to finally be out front for once and not get mud in the eye. And yeah, the track is in excellent condition, so I was psyched.
How is it holding up?
So far, it's great. The guys did a wonderful job last night. The track's in peak condition right now. If it holds up for the rest of the day, it's going to be awesome racing.
Well, guys, we're going to see number 24, Luke Paul in the main. Great job.
Thanks, Lorette. Good work for him. And you see there, Luke Paul, Andy Ives, they get the transfer. The Johnson brothers, 5th and 6th. It's not their time to be in the final here in Charlotte. Getting ready now for last chance qualifier number 2. 2 more spots remain in the final, and 2 only.
That's right. These are the last 2 spots. These guys are not going to hold anything back. You know, their sponsors want to see them in the finals. This is where they just have to make it happen.
So we're going to take a look at that front line. We start with Brian McLean. He is on the outside, though, and we saw how important the inside line is. D. Dipple sits in the middle. This is the pinch point where you can get crushed. And Scott McFarland, that, I think, is the all-important inside line going into corner number 1.
We've seen it all day. That inside is the lane of choice, and guys that have been starting there have been finishing really well.
So the back line of Skolnick, Johnson, and Wade Moore, they got some traffic to fight through, but what I like about the Charlotte course is the fact that there is enough room to pass at several points on the course.
Absolutely, there's been tons of passing. It's been really good racing. And once again, that inside line looks like it's going to be, whoa, no, it's the 37 on the outside.
Wow, McLean makes a fast drive around there, but can he make it hold is the question.
This car is so slick.
He's leaning on Dipple there, and he kind of gets shuffled out a little bit. And Scott McFarland goes from 1st to 3rd in just a heartbeat.
Wow. That 37 machine is running really strong.
So Brian McLean so far in the lead as they go into the split lane. That was, I mean, he really just, he was putting the lean on at the start there, and he just somehow found the power all the way around the outside. A great move for him.
Oh, and look at this. It looks like Dipple is going to get passed by Skolnick on the finish line.
Oh! Skolnick takes that Loctite
goodness.
machine end over end, and he was making such an amazing pass. Well, going to check him out. Red flag now on this race, so the race will come to a halt, and we will re-rack it and get it started again. So,
holy smokes, that was gnarly.
You know, he had a lot of speed, but obviously just a little bit too. What happened here?
Oh wow, it looks like he might have just lifted on the face of that jump a little bit. You have a little bit too early. You have to carry your throttle all the way through, or you endo like we just watched.
So we watch this one again. All the speed in the world, and you know, wow!
Oh my gosh!
Almost seemed like it lifted on the takeoff. He was never going anywhere but endo.
Man, oh man, that was glad to see he's okay. That was gnarly.
So Zach Skolnick out of the machine, but I think that's going to end his day pretty early. We could probably guarantee that.
The mechanics in the pits are wizards. I'm not sure if they can get that one back together.
When we return, the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship will restart LCQ number 2. Welcome back, everyone. Last chance qualifier number 2 is re-racked. You'll see a gap in the back, and that would belong to none other than Zach Skolnick for this crash. Unbelievable. Well, let's take a look at the general in the driver's seat. This perspective right behind Skolnick as he goes over the jump.
Unbelievable. Just lifts a little early, and man, it doesn't matter how many times I watch, it doesn't get any less gnarly.
But Zach is all right. He's out of the car, and he's down with Lorette.
Well, guys, I'm standing down here with Zach Skolnick, and Zach, you just had a heavy crash. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. These Polarises are really safe. I just gotta thank the TerraCross crew for building a really safe car. Had a great run from 5th to 2nd. just couldn't hold on going over the jump, but the number 2 driven steering wheels, Black Rhino performance vehicle was rolling pretty good.
What happened?
Just got in too hot going over the jump, and after that, you're just rolling, so.
All right, guys, well, he came out of his car with a smile. Glad he's okay. Back up to you.
Well, he certainly put on a good show, that's for sure. So, 5 machines on the start line, and these Polaris Razor 1000s ready to take on this last chance qualifier. Only 2 spots, though, out of those 5.
Only 2 spots. These things are so tough. They're just amazing machines, these Polaris Razors.
Inside there, the number 42, Scott McFarland, got a good start. Can he hang on to it? 3-way battle right now for the start, though.
It's like McLean so fast on that outside again.
McLean is kind of dogging the back of McFarland there.
He slides a little wide.
Left a little bit of spell. Look at this 3 wide. Here's your onboard from Scott McFarland.
Look at that. Holy smokes. That rhythm section is just
You can
awesome.
see the beating and banging these guys are taking as they go through this TerraCross course.
I can't say enough good things about this Charlotte course. Tim Wyatt did such a good job putting it together. There's so much room, and it just makes for awesome, awesome racing.
Oh man, and then nosing into the landing of that thing too. Great onboard from McFarland. He is chasing down that number 37 of McLean, who is in the lead now. And this is a pretty convincing run for McLean again.
Yeah, he's looking really good. Smooth over all the jumps. I don't think he wants to do that endo move that we saw.
And just a mistake, you know, we're talking about this, it's only a mistake when you either brake or you lift off your throttle that will dip the front end of the machine down that aggressively.
Exactly. You know, the coolest part about this track is there's so much room and all the lines are really quite equal. It really comes down to driving. All these machines are exactly the same, so it's all about how well you drive the buggy.
So 37, Brian McLean in the lead, and then the 42 is Scott McFarland working on the outside of that split lane, trying to find a way around, trying to find some extra speed on the outside.
Pretty solid. That pushes a little wide, opens the door. Looks
just as you see that, he literally opens the door wide open for Mike Johnson to come through. And man, he looked good until that point.
And Mike's new to TerraCross this year. He you know, really helps out a lot, does a lot of stuff with the course building and such, but he had a huge crash in San Diego and pulled an endo move just like what we saw earlier, and he's trying to make amends for that here in Charlotte.
So here we go.
Another
McLean
change.
Was leading it out, but there's all kinds of changes happening behind him.
Man, I tell you, those sweeping corners, if you're not careful, a guy that's a little bit slower and tucks underneath, you can't leave that outside, or that, excuse me, inside line open.
And here we go, on board again with Scott McFarland, and you can see how hard they have to work. You know, on any one of these obstacles, you're either getting slammed back and forth, or you're having to kind of saw the wheel back and forth to get control.
But we've got a good battle for that second transfer spot between Johnson and Scott McFarland. Let's see if Mike Johnson can get that second spot back.
So here we go, Johnson taking that slingshot approach, the high speed outside. Oh, and he trying to correct himself.
Different.
I don't know if he was trying to find a line there, if he just basically lost control. Oh, look at this nice sliding turn. It's like that, like the dirt track at Charlotte, just across the other side of the speedway here.
Oh, you can see he put some time on right there. That corner was perfect.
So number 37 of McLean is still in the lead here. Winding down lap number 4 of 5. That 37 is looking pretty racy. And the battle is for that second spot, really, though, between McFarland and McLean. No, I'm sorry, McFarland and Mike Johnson.
Yeah, that Walker Evans 37 is looking really solid out front.
Oh, we see something happen there to Johnson. So the white flag, 1 lap to go with McLean in the lead. But what happened to the number 881? We just suddenly lost him. He's out of the picture completely.
Yeah, there's so many things going on with these buggies. You know, they're not necessarily built for the racing circuit, but they're crazy tough. So part of the winning a race is you have to make sure your buggies finish to the end.
And one thing you got to say, we talk about these things as being like mini trophy trucks. They got so much travel and the suspension, and it's absolutely mind-blowing the amount of punishment they take in one of these races.
It really is. I mean, not only just racing around the track, but then you get them banging into each other. It's incredible.
So McLean working his way around to the checkered flag in that blue and white number 37 machine. Here we go. Checkers coming out. McLean will take it, and it looks like McFarland's going to take second. He will get the last transfer spot into our final. What a great race there for Brian McLean. And McLean is our Polaris RZR power performer today. Just watch him work his way out of traffic.
Right from the start, he took that outside line and pushed that Walker Evans Polaris RZR basically right to the front, right out of the get-go.
And here, the drag race down through the middle. He splits it, and he manages to take the lead. And a very well-deserved Polaris RZR power performer performance from Mr. McLean. So there you go. The start list is ready for the pro final. 16 Polaris RZR 1000s will line up. And that is going to be a doozy with that many machines on track at once.
I'll tell you what.
Sitting in the second row for that final and leading out the points is BC Vaught.
After not winning a single race, just completely consistent since day one.
Unbelievable. He's manager of Colton Moore in the X Games, but he's racing his own championship here today. He told us why Charlotte is a special place for him.
Yesterday when I got here, it was a little emotional for me because, you know, when I was a little kid, around 1975, 76, my dad raced NASCAR. And one of the final events that he got to race before he bowed out of NASCAR was right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I was here at about 7 o'clock last night, which is 5 o'clock California time. And I called my dad and I said, hey, I have a flight waiting for you at 11 o'clock tonight out of Las Vegas. Can you get there in time? He said, heck yeah, and he's here with me today. So Charlotte Motor Speedway is a special place for us, and I'm proud to be here. Oh! When I got the call from Joe Duncan saying I was leading Jason Luberg by 1 point, things changed a little, you know? I'd like to go home with that championship. So I'm happy to be out there, even though he and I are friends. I don't think if it comes down to he and I battling on the track, it's going to be that friendly. And I worry about that a little bit. This tour is a success, but I would like to go home with that championship. It's something I could put on my desk and look back at and show my kids, and hopefully they're proud.
And I know that Papa Ben Vaught is very proud of his son, BC. Ben was known as the Okie in his NASCAR career. He's out here supporting his son, top of the championship points going into this race. Well, coming up next, the ladies are taken to the track.
The ladies have been some of the best racing we've seen so far in TerraCross this year. It's been fantastic.
Women's final coming up from Charlotte when we return. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship. This is the Polaris Super TerraCross. Women's final on the line. Cindy Hart leads the points, but Jamie Ward-Luberg in second. Lorette Nickel has caught up with her.
Some of the best racing has been in the women's class, and Jamie Ward, how do you attack that last crucial lap?
Just keep your head in the game, play smart, take the corners easy, and just keep all 4 tires down.
And you have the top qualifier in your car as your co-pilot. Does that calm your nerves?
Absolutely. Me and my brother, Jason Luberg, we make an awesome team. We're both running for the championship this weekend, and we're both super excited to be out here and do what we love doing.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
It's amazing how you can see both brother and sister are in the hunt for this championship this year.
And both look really racy, but, you know, Jamie Ward's got a tall task now to take down Cindy Hart. She's got Digger Doug Gus sitting in that passenger seat next to her, so no more accomplished racer than Doug.
Cindy has won 3 of these this year, so she's looking for a championship.
The only person to win other than Cindy Hart, Jamie Ward. And with Jason Luberg sitting next to her, I think she's got a good chance here today in Charlotte.
And so far this season, the women's racing has been so good. Most all of the finals have come down to the last lap.
Jamie Ward has the inside track, that number 525 machine. That certainly has been the best place to start. Look at the start she got there, wow.
Huge hole shot on that inside. Wow, that was a great start.
Wow, she just leapt out to the lead there. Great start for her. Sarah Gilday, the 881 in second place.
Well, I tell you what, it must be a little nerve-wracking being a navigator. I don't know, it just seems like it would be hard not being in control of the machine, but these guys seem to just enjoy it.
And look at her fly, that Anderson-designed Polaris Razor, and it's got to be tough for the Doug Gusts and Jason Luberg to sit in that passenger seat. Oh, take a look at the 55. It looks like it's moving slow.
Something, yeah, definitely looks like Doug looking down there. Something must be up.
So that Nielsen Enterprises machine of Cindy Hart looks like she's having trouble. Meanwhile, Jamie Ward leading out our women's final. We'll have the end of the race when we come back to the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship. Is flying here in Charlotte as the women's final is coming to a close. Jamie Ward leading out this race. A disaster, though, for Cindy Hart. The number 55 Nielsen Enterprises machine breaking early in the race. So this is going to shuffle the points championship right around.
You know what? I thought Cindy had it in the bag. Breaking down is probably the worst possible scenario for her. So Jamie Ward is pretty solid.
And Jamie Ward, the only person other than Cindy Hart to have won a race this year. It looks like she is going to take number 2. Be really interested to see just what the points are going to be coming out of here. This will actually give Jamie a great chance to maybe knock Cindy off the top.
Definitely possible. We'll have to see exactly how the points shake out, but she's going to be right back in the hunt for sure.
So here we go, a few corners left. Jamie Ward over Treya Barron, and there it is. The checkered flag flies, and Jamie wins her second women's pro final of the season, and we won't even see Cindy Hart cross the line.
Here we are in the start. Jamie Ward, great anticipation on the green flag. Look at how big of a jump she gets on that inside line to take the lead.
And a slow start there for the number 55 on the outside of Cindy Hart, so I don't know if she had troubles right off the line.
Here, Jamie, look at how smooth she gets through this section. That is absolutely as good as it gets.
Wow, beautiful driving there from Jamie Ward. And Jason Luberg, her brother, agrees as they come across the line. Cindy Hart has been a dominant force all season long, but a really disastrous race for her today. But a great win, her second of the season for Jamie Ward. She's with Lorette.
Jamie Ward, a convincing win. Was anything changing out there for you?
No, the track has been amazing all weekend. We have an amazing track crew out here that all seasons built awesome tracks. They're all super safe. As you can see out here this weekend, there's a lot of different lines, passing lines and option lines, which has made racing really fun and very competitive this weekend.
And celebrating with your family, introduce us to him, please.
Absolutely. This is my little man. This is Tide Ward. He's 7 months old, and he's out here celebrating with us this weekend.
Getting in on the celebration. Great job, Jamie. Guys, back up to you.
Take a look at the way the points championship is tightened up now. Only 3 points between Cindy Hart and Jamie Ward as we go into the final race. So it's going to come down to that final race for the championship for the women. In the men's race, well, it's come down to consistency on the top of the standings with BC Vaught and Jason Luberg. But one thing that hasn't been consistent are the winners, and the fact that the tour has had 4 different victors in 4 stops. Mitch Guthrie Jr., RJ Anderson, Dana Creech, and Kyle Hart. The talent just seems to get stronger this year. We've also had some new visitors to TerraCross, including the king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath, and none other than snowmobile legend Levi LaValle. They've both been enjoying themselves here, but someone new getting in the seat of a RZR? Well, none other than Jason Ellis.
Safety first.
Former pro skateboarder and now a radio host. It's great to see Ellis in the seat of that RZR.
My background is professional skateboarding, which really helps with driving. I was born on 4 wheels. It's just I use my feet as a steering wheel instead of my hands. But I want to be a race car driver. Always wanted to be, even before I wanted to be a pro skateboarder. So finally, here's my shot. My biggest competition is, yeah, Jesse. I raced with him one time. Yeah, his brother's real good. No disrespect, but I hope your car breaks. May the best man win. Seriously though, but I'm probably better, so I'm hoping that happens. I'm joking, dude. I will see you on the track. I love that guy. If I win, it'll be the greatest day of my life, the greatest victory of my life. I'll probably start a fire, or I definitely am gonna like buy a bunch of champagne. I don't even drink. I'm gonna be pouring that all over my head. I'll probably get a belt made, like a heavyweight belt that says that I'm the fastest TerraCross champion of the world and all that stuff. I'll have a huge party as well. I just want a medal, man. I want to stand on the box thing one time. I think finally somebody in Australia would actually be proud of one of my achievements.
Well, we'll see if Jason Ellis can make Australia proud as he battles the rest of the men's pro field when we return to Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship, this Polaris Super TerraCross weekend. This amazing Charlotte Motorsports Complex, Paul. It's just a fantastic place to be.
Absolutely. Basically anything with 4 wheels goes on at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And this weekend, in addition to the usual madness, they've even added this awesome car show so people getting to enjoy all forms of 4-wheel motorsports.
It's very similar to Heyday, swap meet, car show, the whole 9 yards. It's been great.
And now the men's pro final is lining up, getting ready to launch.
And these points are so tight. BC Vaught leading this thing without winning a single race this year.
Consistency has been the name of the game. Lorette Nickel is down with BC Vaught.
Well, BC, you've been consistent all season long. How are you going to go back out and do that and be consistent again?
I love driving these Polaris RZR XP 1000s. I have a blast. I drive them in the desert all winter long and I just have a blast. This is a great track built by Dana Creech and the guys from TerraCross. It doesn't get any more fun than this, so I'm just gonna keep my same strategy and let's go out there, drive smooth, consistent, have a blast. I'm gonna try to follow Jason to the end.
There you go. Good luck, guys. Back up to you.
Thanks, Lorette. And it's got to be tough to be in that position. You really do have that target on your back.
Absolutely. You know, he's had no pressure all year. He's just kind of flown under the radar. He is not under the radar any longer.
The front row for this race, Hans Ada on the outside. And he is looking to try and get ahead of Dana Creech. And Creech already won one this season. A track designer, track builder, also a great racer.
And then that inside, all-important inside line is Jason Lubert. He's right in the hunt, man. I tell you, that inside line's good.
But you know, the hard thing is then you've got this crush right behind you. You've got Colton Moore, Doug Gust, BC Vaught. All of these guys are waiting to take you down. And Digger Doug Gust, I mean, that guy can win any day.
Absolutely. He's such a grizzled veteran. He's so good on these courses. And again, this course lends to driver ability. All these machines are exactly equal. The best drivers are the ones that are not making mistakes and going to have a good chance at winning this final.
But they're all targeting that Pro Armor Fly machine of BC Vaught. Meanwhile, on board with Jason Ellis. And it's great to see Ellis out here getting ready for this race.
He's such a great personality. He's been having so much fun at these races. He was disappointed at Heydays and really pumped to be back in this final.
So there we go, the end of the Pro Final start list. 16 machines on the line, and off they go. Charlotte Motor Speedway TerraCross racing is underway.
Luber with a great start on that inside, but I'm telling you, all these lines are so equal. It's just no mistakes is the best policy.
It looked like Dana Creech might have taken him up the middle, but Luberg managing to hang on to that position.
So many machines out there at one time, unbelievable.
Already a fight with BC Vaught, you can see there for that third position. Wow, there's a lot of traffic out here. Oh, is that Vaught getting offline?
Oh no, making an early mistake. That's not what he was wanting to do there.
So Luberg and Creech at the front of the pack here.
There are just Polaris Razors everywhere out here.
On board, Jason Luberg. Remember, he is 1 point behind BC Vaught coming into this final. So he wants to put in a really good show. And he probably doesn't know that BC had that problem.
No, he probably doesn't have any idea. He's just looking straight ahead. You can't see where you're going if you're looking behind you.
Oh, look at that, putting it sideways. Dana Creech in that Humboldt Motorsports machine. Wow, that's some pretty impressive driving to hang on to it.
Driving, and you know, Dana's not out of this championship hunt either, so he definitely wants to put his Polaris Razor at the front of this thing.
There we go, the split lane. Creech went down the outside, he hit the tires. Oh no, so Luberg has pulled out a little bit of a gap there, and that has allowed Colton Moore to catch up to the back of Dana Creech.
Man, Luberg is, he's got a nice lead right now. He has no idea what's going on behind him there. I don't see anyone with pit board, so he's just driving straight ahead.
Now remember, 10 laps in this final, so that is a lot of time for the guys behind you to catch up if you make mistakes.
Absolutely, and this track it's long. It's our longest course of the year, so there's a lot of time for each lap.
You know, I can't believe when you look at that onboard how calm Jason Luberg looks, and he's driving with no gloves.
No gloves. I noticed that earlier. There's a couple guys that don't drive with gloves. I don't know if that just gives you a better feel, or it's a good question. Coolness, perhaps? I'm not sure.
Well, when you're in the lead of the race like Jason Luberg is, obviously it's fine. You're not getting a lot of mud and other material thrown at you, but you know, if you let somebody overtake you, or if you're down in the field and you're racing without gloves on, I mean, your hands must be raw at the end.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, hands, visibility, all that stuff is not much fun when you're not leading the race.
So the Anderson-designed Polaris Razor XP 1000 of Jason Luberg in the lead over Dana Creech and Colton Moore in that Rockstar machine. And you can see Colton Moore is looking for a way around Creech.
Yeah, Colton is definitely all over the back of that Humboldt Motorsports buggy of Dana. We'll see if he can make that pass.
And there you see the 55 of Doug Gust also coming around the corner there. So Gust is in the hunt also. Meanwhile, on board with our current points leader, BC Vaught, who had that little mistake in the first lap, and that really has cost him.
Yeah, that's put him back toward the mid to back of the pack. I'm not sure if that's where he wants to be. Oh!
Wow!
Looks like BC got into the side of Mickey Thomas, and now he's hung up.
And he's just parked there, sitting against those hydro barriers, so shuffled further back in the pack, and that means that Jason Luberg stands a great chance of coming out of this race at the top of the points.
Oh, no.
Wow! All kinds of carnage going on here. That's the 41 of Jason Ellis. Well, Jason, that probably doesn't make Australia proud. I love that he's just hanging. He's hanging underneath. The yellow flag is out, but I wonder if we'll be able to keep this going, or if we're going to have to go to a red flag. Jason Ellis upside down. More from Charlotte when we come back.
Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship is being brought to you by Mystic Lubricants, specially formulated for lubrication domination. Visit mysticlubes.com. And by the Polaris Razor XP 1000.
Before the break, you saw this spectacular flip from former pro skateboarder Jason Ellis.
Would you expect anything less from him? And here we are on board, just Look at him, oh, just ragdolling in there. Holy smokes, that was a pretty gnarly crash.
And you could see he was trying to save it, but unfortunately, perfect parking on the roof there. We didn't have a red flag because of that, though, and they did manage to get him righted.
Correct, and typically you'll have a red flag if there isn't a safe way around a vehicle on the course and you have to stop traffic. There was a safe way, so we're still racing.
So he is out of this race, but meanwhile, Jason Luberg, that number 525, he is trying to keep himself ahead of Dana Creech, who is, I think, redesigning the course as we move.
That seems about right. There's so many buggies in this course. Has been
no! Luberg gets turned around by Dana Creech, and then Doug Gust gets through too. So suddenly, Jason Luberg shuffled back from first to third.
Jason made a bit of a mistake there, and Creech didn't have anywhere to go. It didn't look like it was malicious, but he made it pay.
Yeah, but Creech was already pushing the water barriers out of the way as he was coming through anyway, so he's obviously figured out how to punch the front of that Polaris and not get in trouble. Now looking from Jason Luberg, who is working on the back of the number 55 of Doug Gust. He had all this clear vision on the last lap, and all of a sudden now, dirt is flying back at him.
You know, and sometimes being out front, the pressure gets to you a little. You know, we saw earlier, Jason had a good lead, and then obviously Dana, the mix of Jason maybe slowing down and Dana finding quick lines, you know, he obviously is not in first any longer.
So Dana Creech, the number 52 Humboldt machine, he has won one already this year, and we talked about how he is a course builder and a course designer, but he's certainly, again, he's come into his own this year. He really seems to be racing well.
Yeah, Dana's kind of had a win or crash mentality this year, and I think this weekend he's like, I just want to race consistent. He knows that he's still in the championship hunt. You got to finish to win, so you know, he's driving really, really well.
And you can see Jason Luberg looking back. He's worried now that he's under threat from the 4th place, who should be Mickey Thomas at this point. But meanwhile, Dana Creech has got that lead, and he is starting to lap the rest of the field. He's coming up on the 42. He's past Scott McFarland, so he's already lapped a couple of machines. Remember, 16 Polaris Razor 1000 started this race, and Dana Creech has already lapped a bunch of the field as we come through to our final lap.
Dana has just driven such a good race. It's great to watch how these guys back in on that slippery, sweeping corner.
And you also see a lot of yellow flags flying again in this race. All kinds of carnage, guys driving off the track, and we saw BC Vaught drive into those water barriers, which has caused a complete upset in this points championship now.
Yeah, and BC's actually off track, so he must have had a serious issue. So we'll have to wait and see, but the points are definitely, it's going to be pretty crazy to see how they shake out.
So Dana Creech working the end of this race. He will get himself a little bump in the points also. Big question, though, is where Jason Luberg is going to finish this one out. The checkered flag coming out here for Dana Creech. Gets his 2nd win of the season in TerraCross. Doug Gust brings it over the line 2nd, and we are waiting to see if Jason Luberg will take that 3rd place. Here he comes. 3rd place for Luberg. So a great result for him. I suspect he thought he might have the win at the end, but he's going to have to settle for 3rd.
Whips a little 360 there for the crowd. Dana Creech has got to be pumped for this win.
Oh, absolutely. This is great for Dana. A 2nd win of the season, going to help him in the points championship. And some really forceful driving from Creech is what got him to the front.
And Luberg had such a solid start that inside. It looked like he was going to really check out. You can see even coming through here, the whoops, he still had a really good lead over Dana Creech, but it wasn't going to stick.
No, because when he was coming up on the back of Roger Kirkpatrick, he slides out on the wet asphalt. That lets Creech past him, and as he's straightening up, watch the number 55 of Doug Gust, whoop, up and around the outside for 2nd place. So here we have it. Creech wins over Gust and Luberg. A great race between Dana and Jason, and Loretta's caught up with them.
You two put on a great race. Jason Luberg, talk about the pass Dana made on you.
Dana made a good pass. He was a good driver, so we didn't get tangled up. I lost 4-wheel drive, It's rough out here today, but he did a good job getting by me clean, and we both finished the race good.
Dana, what's your side of the story?
Yeah, it's a similar situation. We were running each other really clean, other than I got roosted horribly by this guy every lap. I went through 10 tear-offs out there behind him, but yeah, it was a clean pass. Kind of touched him there, but he was already done when I touched him. He was facing the wrong way. I might have helped him get back around.
Well, a lot of great sportsmanship by these two guys. Back up to you.
Dana Creech, such a helpful fella, letting him get all the way around. Well, our Mystic Lubricants lubrication domination performance. It has to be Dana Creech, not afraid to muscle his way around the course and muscle his way past the mistake of Jason Luberg. Creech takes the win here in Charlotte with a fantastic performance.
Dana with his second win on the season. His patience paid off today, and he puts another one in the books.
Dana Creech, the only repeat winner in the season so far. He is our Mystic Lubricants lubrication domination performance. Look at those points. Look how it changed.
Unbelievable. Once again, we have a new leader without a win this series, Jason Luberg.
So Jason Luberg, 12 points clear of BC Vaught as we go into the final race of the season. For Paul Thacker and Laurent Nickel, this is Tess Sewell. Be sure to join us again for the final race of the Mystic Lubricants TerraCross Championship.